Illuminati backups, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I thought it would be fun to react to a subreddit of sorts. What other subreddit than, of course, Am I the A-hole? Now, I'm just gonna search through and see if I can find any. I found a little bit, because my mother really likes to listen to these on her podcast, and I thought, you know what, since it's fun, why not give it a go? Because I've seen other, like, you know, commentary and reaction channels, YouTubers do this. Am I the a-hole for walking away when I was asked to apologize? For context, I used to be best friends with a guy who we'll call Brad and his girlfriend who we'll call Diane. Brad, Diane, and I used to all eat lunch together along with a few other friends. I'm usually very chatty and social, but my grandpa had been in the hospital the past few days, and I wasn't as chipper as usual. So when Diana asked me to go with her to throw something away, I said yes. I could explain the situation to her. This wasn't abnormal for us to leave the guys for a few minutes, as this was usually a chance for us to talk without them. When we were away from the guys, I apologized for not talking as much and explained how my grandpa was in the hospital. She stopped me mid-sentence and I said, "Do you like my shirt?" She was wearing one of those black shirts that was tie-dyed with bleach. Oh, that's cool, with the bleach heart. I confused responded with, yeah, I guess. Can I get back to talking about my grandpa who's in the hospital now? She proceeded to sigh before saying, I guess. Whoa, that's like our first red flag, I fear. By this point, we had finally gotten back to Brad and the rest of the group. They saw we were obviously upset and asked what had happened. Before we could explain, Diane had stormed off, leaving me to explain the situation. After I had said what had happened, Brad asked, "Why can't you just say I'm sorry?" It's important to note that until this point I had been apologizing to Diane, no matter if I was wrong or not, simply because I thought it was better than fighting. However, after some much needed therapy, I decided to stop doing that and had determined I shouldn't have to always apologize when things aren't my fault. After he said this, I was almost in tears because I felt like those months of progress were going down the drain. Here's where I may be the a-hole. Instead of staying to explain why I was upset, just like Diane, I stormed away without explaining or clearing things up. As I walked away, I could hear Brad telling his friend, "What did I do?" Which just made me more upset. So, am I the a-hole for walking away instead of explaining why I was upset? Let's see what the comments say. Not the a-hole. Diane was insensitive and willingly so. Even when you redirected the chat back to the topic that holds emotional weight for you, she still sighed and acted insensitive. Yeah, valid. That was disrespectful and tactless. Well done for sticking to your boundaries. Well done for sticking to your boundaries and apologizing straight away. You are right to value yourself more and making people take you seriously. I know what that must have been difficult and uncomfortable, and you did it anyway. I'm sure Brad and Diane are not used to having some respect and love for yourself, so it will take them time to get used to those steps you are taking. Yeah, because usually, if you don't love yourself, you can't expect other people to love you, I fear. Because, like, if you don't have that innate deep love for yourself, and when you do that, you also treat yourself according to that lack of depth of self-love, and like when you do that, you kind of express how you want to be treated in a sense, and to that extent of how much you are willing to love yourself, and people see that, and so they treat you accordingly. And so when she says, well done for sticking to your boundary, apologizing, you are right to value yourself more and making people take you seriously. I know that must have been difficult and uncomfortable. I'm sure Brad and Dan are not used to having some respect and love for yourself, so it will take them time to get used to these steps that you're taking. I think that since it's a learning curve for this person, everyone else also has to adjust to this new kind of space, and just that line, I think, really does say a lot about maybe in the past this person, that the person didn't really have a lot of innate self-respect and a lot of innate love, so now everyone also has to adjust to that. But also, you should just be treating people with respect in general, man. Like, we're talking about if you don't have that innate sense of treating someone with respect regardless. But also, I suppose after a while, you do tend to treat how someone treats themselves a little bit. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you value these friendships when you are ready, I would meet up and reiterate that you did nothing wrong and it hurt when she dismissed you like that. And as a friend, you need some support right now with what you're going through. If they're not selfish and immature, they will offer you support and kindness. If they double down, you need to decide if you want to continue to give them access to when you're working to better yourself. Yes. Yeah, and I think everyone here has the same thing. She's not the a-hole. She was talking about something sensitive, and then the other girl tried to intercept that topic and was like, hey, you know what? No, this is like, everything here is about me. Like, you know, I don't understand. I fear the people around her could have been so much more. If they were more mature and understanding and less quick to anger, I fear she wouldn't have gotten angry and as upset. I think if they were like, well, I apologize if that was insensitive, please continue talking, or, okay, look, listen, I was wrong to do that, I'm sorry, you don't need to apologize. Like, you know, I fear if like, one side was more mature, this is the mature decision to do. Getting angry, I think, doesn't help the situation, but if the others were to, it would have been like, I'm sorry, girl. You know, so yeah, not the a-hole for sure. I like the ones where it's incredibly difficult to tell if it's like not the a-hole or if it's the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for expecting my boyfriend to pay me back for money I lent him? I, female 24, have been with my boyfriend for 6 years, and he is in significant credit card debt, and has been trying to pay it off. In the past 6 months, I have zelled him around $700. Oh, what? Wait, hold up. What is that in South African rands? Hold up. That is almost 13,000 rand. Okay, you know, first, okay, off the bat already. In the past 6 months, I have zelled him around almost 13,000 rand. Excuse me? Whenever he asks for extra money for food after he dumps his paycheck into paying off his card. Okay, wow, that's, over the course of a few months, I could see how that could happen, but wow, that is a lot of cash, that is a lot of money. It would be $300 in 1 month, which I'm assuming is going to be like 5,000, 6,000 rand, jeez. A few months later, 200,000, and last week another $200. And last week another $100. He tells me he will pay me back after he gets paid out so far. So far he hasn't. Normally I let it go and tell him it's fine, but in my opinion, the borrowing has gotten too frequent for me. Maybe it isn't in reality. 6 months passed and nothing. I brought this to his attention and said that it's not about the money itself. It's about you saying you'll pay me back but never do. He was really hurt and disappointed in me. He said saying how if I were to ask him for money, he would just give it to me no problem and not expect it in return. He also said that he thought I was a person he could rely on for extra help, but now he sees that it comes with strings attached. So, and that everyone is in for themselves. He also said that it wasn't easy asking for help and he hates doing it. Poor me, oh my gosh. I'm now distraught that he doesn't see me as a trustful source of help when he needs it as his girlfriend anymore. I never intended to hurt him or make him feel bad. I just wanted to establish a boundary about asking for money in a frequency which I thought was too much. I never even wanted the money back. I just thought that he was unintentionally might be taking advantage. Am I the a-hole for expecting my boyfriend to pay me back, or should I just keep quiet and let it go? Okay, not the a-hole. So I'm also in a lot of credit card debt, and I also have a long-term partner. I would never do this. It's not about helping each other out. He is using you. The fact that he keeps increasing the amounts, large amounts by the way, and asking more frequently is the tell. Even if it's unintentionally, the fact that he doesn't see the issue is a red flag. He needs help with financial management, but it's unfair to expect you to continuously give him that much money every time he asks. It sounds like you'll need to have a real conversation about it without him becoming defensive. Yeah, no, I fear all the comments say that, you know, he is the a-hole in the situation. Because, like, what did he say? He said if we would ask him for money, he would just give it to me. Okay, if I would ask you for money, he would just give it to me, no problem. I don't see how that's relevant, though. when did she ask about that? She asked, like, no, it's, what she said, both of her attention, it's not about the money, it's about saying you'll pay me back, I never do. It's about keeping promises. Like, it's about the fact that you lied to her, you told her you would do X, Y, and Z, and you lied to her. And that, and it's that principle he broke, and I think that's the main issue. But then he goes on to essentially gaslight her and manipulate her feelings, because he knows what he did was wrong, and if he doesn't, this man is in a world of hurt for what he's about to discover. I'm not an adult yet, but I fear when you're a child or a teenager, you have these kind of like safety guards for if you mess up really badly like this, you have a chance to fix it, and it's a lot easier maybe to fix it when you're a kid, because when you get into a relationship as an adult, you have to pay for your rent, you have to pay for your food, X, Y, and Z, and if you're with someone who's paying for all these things for you, if you break up, you don't really have a go-to, unless your parents are really nice and cool and let you stay with them. But also, like, I just think these sort of problems are, like, even, either equal to or even worse when you're, like, a kid or, like, a teenager, because at least with a teenager, generally speaking, you should have something to fall back on. I don't know. I think this guy needs to get a life. Am I the a-hole for not taking my drunk girlfriend home? Friday night. My girlfriend and I hadn't communicated all day. I sent her a text earlier, which she read but never responded to. I called her around 7 p.m. and she didn't pick up. I work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So after a long day, I didn't hear from her at all until she finally called me at 10 p.m. While she was already on the way to a sip and paint night at her friend's apartment, we had a casual conversation about our day. Nothing too deep, and that was it. Fast forward to 1 a.m., I'm already in bed asleep when she texts me, "Babe, can you come get me?" She was intoxicated. I responded, "Yeah, sure, where are you?" I'd assumed earlier that she planned to spend the night at her friend's house. Hold up. She was intoxicated. I responded, "Yeah, sure, where are you?" I had assumed earlier that she planned to spend the night at her friend's place, but now she was saying she wanted to go home. That was fine. I told her she was about 20 minutes away, that I was on my way, and now here's where the problem starts. I got about 5 minutes away, and she calls me. She asks, "Are you almost here?" I tell her yes, I'm a few minutes out, and then she says, "What about my car?" I pause and say, "What about your car?" She tells me she can't leave it at her friend's apartment overnight. At this point, I'm frustrated because she never mentioned her car earlier. In fact, I assumed someone had driven her there in the first place. Now, I'm stuck in a situation where she suddenly needs a way to get both herself and her car home. I ask, "What do you want me to do?" She doesn't have an answer. So I lay out the reality of the situation. Option 1, I take her home in my car and she picks up her car the next day. Option 2, she spends the night at her friend's place like she originally planned. I even explained to her that the only way to take both her and her car home would be if I drive to her, get in her car with her, drive her home, take an Uber back to my car at her friend's apartment, drive my car home. That would mean I wouldn't get home until 2:30 or 3 a.m. Usually I could even find an Uber. I could even find an Uber that late. That's just not reasonable. In the end, she decides to stay at her friend's place, which means I just drove 20 minutes there and 20 minutes back at 1 a.m. for absolutely no reason. At this point, I'm just frustrated. Not only was there a complete lack of communication throughout the day, but she also didn't plan ahead for how she'd get home without drinking. How'd she get home after drinking? This whole situation could have been avoided if she had just thought things through. Am I wrong for being upset? I feel bad for this guy. Let's look what the comments say. Not the a-hole. At some point, she has to take responsibility. Yeah. Okay, so let me just get this straight. She was intoxicated for 20 hours. About home. Pause and say, "What about your car? What about your car?" She tells me she can't leave it at her friend's apartment. And I'm stuck in a situation, so I have to go both ask herself a car. I said, "What do you want me to do?" She doesn't have an answer. So I lay out the reality. I take her home in my car and she picks up her car. Oh, because she drove to her friend's place in her car. And so now the boyfriend is like using his car to drive to her place, and then she gets picked up from the boyfriend, and the boyfriend has to drive her back home in that car, and he like would Uber back to the friend's place to get the car back to like his home. Yeah, and I don't see how that's reasonable though. Like, already trying to think about it, if I have to, like, I didn't understand fully what she meant. I got the rough gist of it. But already, if I have to, like, jump through hoops to understand what she's trying to, like, say to him, and I already think this is, like, you know, a no bueno. Like, I don't think, no, you're not the a-hole for this. Because she should have explicitly told you, look, I'm going to be drinking at my friend's place. We're gonna have a sip and paint, we're gonna paint and we're gonna drink, okay, it's gonna be lovely. And she should have told him, like, prior, like, could you pick me up? Or like, or get some sort of mode home, like mode of transportation home, you know? Like, she should have at least warned him that she might not be able to drive back home because she's gonna be drunk. I don't understand what her, like, I don't understand what her, like, point of logic was. I can't follow clear, straight dots with this. It's difficult to, like, comprehend. You're not the a-hole. Your girlfriend was being weird, dude. Really, like, I fear a lot of these stories are just, like, people who, like, are in a situation where they know they're in the right, but they're either too kind for their own good, so they need reassurance and validation that maybe they are wrong and maybe they were the a-hole, maybe they should, like, you know, be down on themselves. And I think another part is just that, because they're so confused on whether or not this is, like, it's their fault or the other person's fault. It's like another aspect of people pleasing, even. Like a very mild version of it, because you really don't know if you're the a-hole in the situation. Am I the a-hole? Drunk friends let other blacked out friend walk away in the cold. Tonight I was at a party with a group of friends. We've been partying with for about 5 years. Some of us are closer than others, and I'm closest to Tyler, who has a history of getting way too drunk at parties. He's been in ambulances and drunk tanks before, so I always worry about him when he drinks too much. Tonight it was just a smaller group of us, about 7 people. I was the only sober one and left the party around 12:30 a.m. An hour later, either Tyler or someone else had the idea to walk to the bars, but Tyler was already too drunk. Though he could still walk well and was answering questions, he was belligerent and insisted on going alone. Okay, buddy. The other friends tried to stop him, but he refused and said he would go alone if he had to. It was about minus 10 degrees Celsius outside, and Tyler wasn't dressed warmly, just a thin hoodie and jeans. I can't understand why no one took his condition seriously, especially knowing his history. Eventually, they let him go despite knowing he was in no condition to be alone. And the bars were closing soon anyway. I've had a similar situation with Tyler before, and I knew he wouldn't have been able to make it on his own. I had once forced him to come back to my house for safety. For about 20 minutes later, Tyler called me, panicked and knocking on a stranger's door. He wouldn't tell me where he was or give me any details, and all I could hear was a car alarm in the background. I kept begging him to give me his location, but he wouldn't. He was too drunk to think straight, but still somewhat responsive. I started walking toward the party, hoping I could hear the car alarm and find him that way. Some guys heard the commotion and started talking to Tyler while he FaceTimed me, and I managed to ask them where. This is a lot. I managed to ask him where he was. They told me his location, so I ran to him. When I got to him. Tyler was sitting on the curb, crying, saying he didn't know where he was and was freezing. I gave him my jacket and walked him back to my house, where I put him in a bed to sleep it off. Afterward, I messaged one of my friends telling them it was irresponsible and that they were all bad friends to let Tyler leave on his own in that state. They replied asking why I was lecturing them, saying that they tried to get Tyler to stay but he refused. I feel frustrated and hurt by the way my friends handled the situation. I think it was wrong to let him go alone, knowing how drunk he was and his past behavior. I'm worried this will weaken my friendships with the friends who let him leave. Am I wrong for being mad at them? Please let me know. This is a lot of a situation. Like, this is a lot. Let's see what the comments say. We have we have our first "you are the a-hole," and so is Tyler. Tyler can't hold his liquor and gets belligerent when he drinks, but somehow you are blaming everyone else. The truth is that the other people can only do as much to save Tyler from himself. They told him not to go to the bars and he just got angry. What do you expect everyone else to do? Hold him prisoner? Tyler has a serious drinking problem and he needs to get treatment before he kills himself. Whoa, okay, buddy. You are the a-hole and so is your friend. Yeah, your friend is an annoying drunk just all the time. Stop coming. I feel judgment is beside the point. Tyler's a serious alcohol problem. If he frequently drinks to excess, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't, like, listen, I don't want to knock the guy, but dude, Tyler, if you have an issue with drinking and with substance, I don't understand why you're still allowing him to be in that space. Like, if someone can't cut vegetables with a sharp knife, why are you letting them hold a knife? Oh, because everyone, he should still have the right to hold a knife. Okay, but why if he is a liability, and in the sense that he's gonna hurt himself and other people? Because, like, you don't know what you're gonna do when you're like an angry drunk. Like, I know a lot of people who don't remember half the stuff they did because they were drunk, but they still hurt people. So, like, I fear this is on everyone for allowing him to be in that space. Like, if the friend tonight, if the guy we're talking about who's talking about the story, if he understands Tyler's history, and if the friend has, and if all the friends also know that, like, he has a history with drinking, why are we still letting him in that space? Like, I don't understand where, like, there needs to be some thought behind it, because when you're under the influence, your prefrontal cortex is out the wazoo, and so you don't know what you're doing. You don't know, you don't know, what's it called again? The part of your prefrontal cortex that, dishes out logic and, the yeses and nos, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. That part gets severely, like, numbed or, like, affected by alcohol, and that's why, you'll do stupid stuff like climb over a fence that says no entry allowed, or you'll, like, punch a plywood wall at a restaurant or something. Like, you do that because, that part of your brain isn't working properly due to the alcohol. And so, yeah, I don't know. If the guy's got issues, don't let him into the bar, man. This is self-explanatory. Hey, thanks for watching the video, man. I'm gonna be filming right now, so the next couple of videos that you will be seeing from me are gonna be, like, in the same Linkin Park t-shirt, because I will be filming, like, like some stock content to be posting for you guys, because I will not have time in the upcoming few weeks because of, like, school. And I'm going to Splashy Fen, and because of the holidays and stuff, I'm going to be at my mom's filming that vlog video. So, like, yeah, I'm going to be filming a lot of, like, stock content. So I do not wear the same shirt for a couple consecutive weeks, because I usually film, like, the day before, 2 days before I record. But yeah, that's gonna be the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed my opinions on this. I think I did talk myself into a couple holes there, but getting the feel for it, grasping it, I usually do some test runs before I record these sort of things, but yeah. See you in the video. Check you, man. Bye. Meet Merp.